Hello everyone, it's Lavender Leaf, and today I'm going to be turning my characters into pixel art. I'll be using the program Piskel, and I look forward to seeing where it goes. Alright, let's get started. So I started out by drawing my character Will. Will is a quiet boy who likes to play his ukulele in the garden. So I started drawing this pixel art by using one color to get Will's general shape, so I know generally what to draw when I start using multiple colors. I find that using one color for the shapes really helps us get the general shape of the character before we have to worry about any of the details. Once I was done with the planning layer, I started to add the basic colors of Will, which show his face, his shirt, and his pants. One thing I learned about pixel art while drawing Will is that it really forces you to simplify. I was originally going to add his mouth, but I actually quite like how Will looks without his mouth. I think there's a certain charm to not adding certain elements of the face. I was adding some details here and there, like his backpack, and I was adjusting the tones of his pants. And then I was done. I'm quite happy with this sprite. I think it's very cute. I really like his backpack, and I think the face works really well without the mouth. Alright, let's move on to the next drawing. So next I started my drawing for Allie. Allie is Will's best friend. She's very optimistic and loves to go on adventures in the woods to discover the creatures within. Currently, she loves gnomes. Anyway, I started the drawing and started going over the basic colors and shapes of Allie. I spent some time adjusting elements of her face like her glasses and her nose. I tried to give her a mouth, but I figured that I should be consistent and make all the characters not have any mouths at all. I gave her a backpack. I was trying to decide on where I should place the backpack in relation to her arms, cause I wanted her overalls to still be showing quite clearly compared to the backpack. I figured that I should make it dark so that it doesn't blend in with her hair. And I'm done! I'm really happy with this sprite as well. I really think the contrasting colors helps her pop out a lot. Here's what they both look like standing next to each other. I think they're both great. I look forward to drawing my third character, which I will start now. So this character I'm drawing is Dale. Now, Will and Allie believe in fantasy creatures, but Dale does not. However, he still occasionally tags along with Will and Allie on their adventures to find the fantasy creatures, so we'll see who gets proven right. Anyway, at this point, I really started to get used to drawing 8-bit pixel art characters. The initial colors were very easy for me to figure out. When I started to work on the hat, I really wanted it to pop out compared to the hair, so I made the hair darker so they could both pop out. Aside from that, Dale was very easy for me to draw. And I'm done! I'm really happy with how he turned out. I think the shadows really help him pop out. And here's the trio! Yippee! Now there's only one thing left to do. Put them all in a pixel art background. When I started working on the background, I decided to base it off of a recent illustration I made. I figured it would be a fun one to recreate in a pixel art style. So I started drawing the illustration. I was just figuring out where I would place the three characters with the blue squares. I was just placing them in certain areas. I figured one of them would be on top of the apple, and the other two would be on the ground. I figured I'd add some background elements like some larger apples in the background, and smaller bits of apples right next to our main apple. Lots of apples today. I figured I'd add some clouds in the sky. I wanted the clouds to be bright, but I also thought that if I made it brighter than the background, that you wouldn't be able to see them too well, so I decided to make them a bit darker than the background behind them. Next I added Allie, who's of course on top of the apple. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a way to import old files into the program, so I had to redraw the characters, but that's okay. It just gives me more practice at pixel art. Same thing's true with Will. I redrew him and made him raise both his arms, showing his excitement for Allie that she made it all the way to the top. Finally, I drew Dale, who I wanted to have a different reaction to the place compared to Will and Allie. While Will and Allie are excited to see these huge apples, Dale is terrified. Not of the apple itself, but what could have caused so much damage to the apples? Who would have an appetite this big? I was almost done with the piece. I wanted to add some shading inside and outside the big apple, just to help it pop out compared to the other apples. And then I was done. I think it turned out great. The atmosphere with the fog in the background really helps the foreground and the characters pop out a lot. It's been a few years since I've done pixel art, and it was a lot of fun coming back to it. Thank you all for watching the video. If you have any ideas for future videos, be sure to leave it in the comments. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. He's pointing at that apple thinking, that is a huge apple.